ね座ってよお願いでもご飯の時間だよ座ってありがとうりんちゃん父ちゃんは
ご飯は
今から持ってくるよご飯ねあこっちはそう
ねえじゃ
せーのいただきますあれねちょっとやって
いただきます
いただきますはい
いただきます
All I need for the breakfast is a bowl of rice and soup. For me, it's a breakfast completion. To elevate it even more, today we're gonna be making salmon mushroom mixed rice together with a simple vegetable soup. We use salmon, mushroom, sweet potatoes, daikon radishes, and lots more veggies. If you want to make the best use of the taste of the ingredients without adding too much seasoning, then this recipe is for you.
はあ美味しそう
We begin by making a salmon mushroom rice. I have 2 cups of Japanese sushi rice. Rinse and drain the water a couple of times until the water becomes milky white. Soak the rice in water for 1 hour. In the meantime, we're gonna chop the veggies. Shred carrot into the thin matchsticks. The thinner it gets, the more clingo to the rice when it's all combined. This Japanese knife I use here is now on 10% discount until November 16th. If you're looking for a good sharp knife, please use my link and the code in the description box. I love this knife so much. Next, burdock. Slice it as thin as we did for the carrots. Burdock will help to reduce the fishy smell of salmon, but if you don't find it where you live, ginger and leek will do the same job as burdock does. To boost more flavor, we're gonna add shimeji mushroom. You can use any mushroom you have on hand. Salmon is now in season in Japan. We call it akijake in Japanese. Some people don't like the fishy smell, so let's do the prep to minimize the odor. Dry the moisture out by gently tapping with a kitchen cloth or paper towel. Sprinkle some salt and spread them equally on the surface. We're gonna wait for 10 minutes. What we are doing now is that we are trying to remove the moisture from the salmon as much as possible. The moisture is what causes the odor. If you are plant-based, I have a vegetable kombu mixed rice recipe, so let me leave the link for you in the description box below. And by the time the rice should be done soaking, drain the water and let the liquid drip off as much as you can. Into the pot, add rice. I'm going to use clay pot, but use any heavy bottom pot you have on hand. You can also cook this in the rice cooker. Now for the seasoning, add half teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sake, also known as rice wine, and water. Mix them together. On top of that, place carrot, burdock, and shimeji mushroom. I like this clay pot because it holds the heat very well. Perfect for making a rice, but to be honest, I rather use a rice cooker on busy morning. Back to salmon. Now the moisture has come out. We're gonna pat it dry one more time and ready to marry with the rest of the ingredients. Place salmon on top. Bring it to the stove and cook it on high. Once it comes to a boil, close the lid and reduce it to low. Cook it for 10 minutes. Make sure not to open the lid from now on. After 10 minutes, bring the heat to high just to evaporate the excess liquid accumulating at the bottom. Off the heat and steam it for another 15 minutes. Next up, vegetable soup. I'm not gonna use any soup stock, but it is still wonderfully flavorful. We are starting by chopping up veggies. All of them are already washed. Chop daikon radish into small dice. I keep the skin on, but if you want, feel free to peel off. Do the same for onion and carrot. How much and what kind of vegetable you use is really up to you. I like to have a root vegetable like onion, carrot, and sweet potatoes since it will give the natural sweetness to the soup. Every time we use different vegetable, we're gonna have a different result. So play around with it. Let me know what your favorite vegetable is for the soup. I've been interested in using beets, but it's rarely found in Japan, and because of its color, I'm a bit intimidated by it. Cut sweet potatoes into the bigger chunks than any other vegetable since it breaks apart easily. Now for the seasoning, we're gonna be using shiokoji, which is a salted rice malt. This is a mixture of rice malt, salt, and water being fermented. I use it as a salt, but it is a lot milder than the salt. I have a video on this too, so again, check out the description box. You could also swap for half teaspoon of salt. Add water until everything is submerged, then bring it to the stove. Cook it on high. Once it comes to a boil, reduce it to low. Just cook it until all the vegetables are fully cooked.
Oh, 美味しそう。はあ、美味しそう。
And finally, back to the rice. I've been waiting for this moment. Remove the salmon and mix them from the bottom to top motion. I only had an apple before I filmed this, so I was starving. Did you hear my stomach growling? We are supposed to have a nice char at the bottom, but I miscalculated the amount of water. I'll make sure to leave the correct measurement on my blog, so leaving the link for you in the description again. Remove the salmon skin and bones. Back them into the rice and one more mix. Lastly, garnish some shiso leaves and ready to be enjoyed. By the time the soup should be ready,
大根が多すぎて他が何も見えない。おー、薄いね。
しいたけを。
しだけを忘れたし。
have a taste. I was aiming to add dried shiitake mushrooms, but I forgot to do it. So instead, I added dried wakame seaweed to amp up the flavor. And also adjust the taste by adding soy sauce and mirin. soy sauce for the flavor and saltiness, and mirin for the sweetness. This time I only added 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. And time to serve. Here's the question I recently received. I want to eat healthy. Japanese food sounds ideal for this, but how can I come to like Japanese food? I'm so used to typical Western food. So my advice for this, we might want to take a baby step whenever we introduce a new eating habit to ourselves. Like today's recipe, it is very gently seasoned. If you're used to the taste of the takeout or the food at the restaurant, you might taste a bit bland at the beginning. Remember, it takes time to retrain your taste buds. As you repeat it over time, you will surprisingly find yourself that you are satisfied with less salt or sugar than before. Please don't go extreme. You can start by reducing a little bit of salt and take the next step as you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy the food itself, the cooking and eating will be torture for you, which won't sustain you any longer. For my case, I slowly started to incorporate more new spices into my cooking, and I've been enjoying it so much. Keep your own pace and forget about the recipe I write. Just take it as a guideline and always adjust it as you like it. If you find a way you enjoy, tag me on Instagram so that I can see your progress. I highly recommend eating it with Japanese pickled ginger, which also has a recipe on my blog. That's it for today. If you like today's recipe, share it with your friends and family. It means a lot when you do. Thank you for being with me here. See you on the next video. Bye bye. またね.